What is up, everybody, and welcome to Black Steez. All right, now today I'm going to be bringing you guys another nutrition-based video. I'm going to be talking about a couple things, specifically meat, raw meat versus cooked meat. Should you be eating raw meat? Should you be eating cooked meat? And basically the way I'm going to frame this video is a response to Sv3rige. And I'm calling him Sv3rige because how the hell do you pronounce that? I'm calling it Sv3rige, whatever his fucking name is. You guys can see the thumbnail. You can see this guy. He goes into public eating raw meat. He goes to vegan events. He eats raw meat. He goes to anti-vegan events, and he likes to eat raw meat publicly in front of people for like shock value. You know, it brings awareness around his cause, which is the consumption of raw meat. Now, I subscribed to his channel before because, you know, nutrition is something that really interests me. So I watch a lot of different YouTubers. I watch Vegetable Police. I watch Frank Tufano. I watch Sv3rige. I watch Dr. Eric Berg. I watch Thomas DeLauer. And recently I caught a video from Sv3rige, and it seems like he's just going off on people for cooking meat. Now, I'm watching the video and I'm like, all right, so you eat raw meat. You're all about this carnivore lifestyle, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with it. One of the big facts that people need to know in terms of this carnivore thing and versus vegans and everything like that, you can actually get all of the nutrients you need from consuming meat and animal products, but that is something that you cannot do by simply consuming plants on a vegan diet. So there is some type of how you would say factual basis and going on a carnivore style diet, but this guy, I think he's getting off the chains a little bit. And for the reasons I'm going to mention in this video. Now, I watched this video earlier today. I think it was titled, Eating Cooked Meat Gives You Brain Damage. So he likes to go for the shock value, but the thing about it is you can make these clickbait titles and you can go for shock value, but the things that you say need to have some basis in reality and in facts. Eating cooked meat does not give you brain damage. Like, you cannot just say that and put that misinformation out for people. Of course, you're going to get your go-to followers and your go-to subscribers that are going to stand behind everything you say and rah, you know, behind you. But the facts of the matter is that you're leading people down a very dangerous path. And I'm going to talk about why. There are many benefits to cooking meat. And I can just give you some of them, just a list of them. Improving digestion, increases the absorption of nutrients. And certain things that you eat, like eggs, for instance, protein is almost 200% more digestible if you cook the egg versus eating a raw egg. You're not going to get as much nutrients out of it. The thing about cooking, and especially meat, is that you want to keep the cook time as low as possible and also keep the temperature as low as possible. And if you do these things, you're going to retain most of your vitamins and your minerals in the actual foods. Now, the same thing pertains to plants, but specifically when you're talking about meat products, it's the B vitamins that actually can stand to be degraded the most through cooking. But there's also ways around that. And this is something that this guy Sv3rige doesn't mention in his video. So I just want to make this as a response to him. Hopefully he watches it. Hopefully people who watch his videos will come back and watch this and have some knowledge to kind of debate and go back and forth with him on that basis. So when it comes to cooking meat specifically, and let's talk about red meat specifically, what happens is when you cook the red meat, the juices that actually render out, these are the fats. The fat is where most of your micronutrients are going to be stored. So when you cook these red meats, the fat drips out, and most of the time, the most important or the most vital vitamin that you're going to be lacking, and that's going to be degraded by cooking meats, is going to be your B vitamins. Now, those B vitamins are still going to be in those juices that actually drip off of the meat when you cook it. If you want to preserve and increase the amount of uh, vitamins, B vitamins especially, that you can get from your cooked meats, it's going to be important to decrease the cooking time, decrease the cooking temperature, and also those drippings that come off, consume that juice. So you can make like a sauce with it, or you can pour it over your vegetables, something like that, to preserve those vitamins and make sure you're consuming them and they're not just going away. Now, when you stir fry your vegetables and your meats, you're going to actually reduce the cooking time, and you reduce the temperature as well. So by doing this, you're actually retaining a lot more of your vitamins and minerals. And also, a lot of cooking, as I said, and I gave you the example with eggs, it also increases the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals. So overcooking any food is definitely bad, because cooking in general is going to lower the amount of vitamins and minerals that are going to be in the food. But if you cook foods properly, you can preserve as much as possible so that you do get those vitamins and nutrients that you actually need from the food. In his video where he talks about cooked meat causing brain damage, he goes on to talk about creatine. Now, creatine is something that's very vital to human beings. It's something that's good to have in your diet. And it's even something that's good for people who are trying to look for performance, for athleticism, and cognitive reasons, to actually supplement with creatine. Now, cooking and heat can degrade creatine from meat, specifically red meats and fish, because that's where you're going to find creatine. It can degrade the creatine content by upwards of 90%. So he did say something about that, and that is something that he's actually correct about. But what he doesn't mention, he doesn't go a step further. He says this, and it is meant to like shock and scare people away from cooking their meat, which is crazy. Like, but what he doesn't mention is, he doesn't mention that dietary creatine is insignificant in terms of, you know, the amount of creatine that you're going to get from consuming beef and consuming fish is going to be largely insignificant. So you're not gonna, the average person is not gonna eat enough beef and fish to get enough creatine for it to be significant in their diet. So basically what that means is you have to eat pounds and pounds of beef and fish to actually get enough creatine for that to make a difference in your diet. If you're concerned about your creatine and about consuming more creatine, I would say that you should look into finding a reliable creatine supplement, so you can actually supplement your creatine. But what he also doesn't mention, Sv3rige also doesn't mention, is that in your body, humans synthesize their own creatine. So, you know, you lose a couple grams of creatine throughout the day in your urine, and creatine is broken down and is passed out of your body in urine. But what happens is you also synthesize creatine inside your body. So you could not eat creatine whatsoever, and your body would still be able to make creatine so long as you were getting the proper nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So that's something that I think that maybe he doesn't realize when he's going on these rants about creatine and the lack of creatine and people getting brain damage and eating raw pigs' heads and stuff like that. He should probably think about something like that. Um, I just want to make another case for actually cooking your meat and cooking things in general. If you're concerned about bacteria and parasites, which you should be if you're eating raw meat, that's a big issue. You can cook your steaks and your meats to medium rare, which is going to be about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's going to destroy probably 90% of any harmful bacteria, maybe even more, maybe even all of it. If you're concerned about parasites, worms, and things like that, specifically in fish, you can actually freeze your fish. You can freeze your meats. And so by freezing them for a few days, you're going to destroy and kill off any parasites in the meat. Also, if you're okay with cooking and you can withstand cooking your food a little bit longer to a little bit higher temperature, if you cook your meats to medium well, which would be about 145 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 15 seconds, you're basically going to kill off everything. Like there's not going to be anything in that food in terms of bacteria and parasites that can actually harm you. These are the reasons why we as human beings need to actually go ahead and cook our food, especially due to the fact that our food sources are not as quality as they should be. When you go to the grocery store, you're getting things of poor quality. In general, we don't have access to very clean and high quality foods. So cooking is something that's very important. He mentions in his video also something, he was laughing about the fact that people were saying that cooked food is the reason why humans evolved. And he said, no, it's not, because raw food has way more nutrients. Yes, raw food is going to have more nutrients. The reason why cooking food helped humans evolve was because they're getting rid of harmful bacteria and things that can give us infections, digestive issues, and also parasites. So those things have a large impact on terms of the life expectancy of an individual, and also the survival rates of humans. So from an indigenous standpoint, these older ancestor groups of people, they would have survived longer by cooking their food simply because it was more healthy for them. Yes, there was going to be a little bit less nutrients in it. Yes, they were going to degrade the vitamins and minerals a little bit by cooking it, but they were going to free themselves from a lot of diseases that would cause them even greater issues than any vitamins and minerals that they were going to be missing out on. So that's very important. That's something that he doesn't say in his video, and I don't think he's even thinking like that. To be honest, the guy's a little bit crazy. So I just want to put this response video out there. My take on it is that you should probably not be listening to a person who goes into public and eats raw brains and then winds up getting arrested multiple times, as he has been lately. So if you think that it's a good idea to follow in the footsteps of somebody whose ideology lands them in prison behind their antics, then go right ahead. But that's why I wanted to bring you guys some more nutrition-based videos, just to come from a place of being an omnivore and keeping myself open to many different types of healthy eating, not just meats, not just plants. And the last thing I want to say about Sv3rige is guys like Sv3rige, they want to be so anti-vegan, and vegans have got a bad rap because of the attitudes that they have. But in reality, when you take a guy like Sv3rige, he's not any better. And so he's on the opposite end of the spectrum. And because he's on the opposite end of the spectrum, making things look bad over here, and you have vegans over here making things look bad over here, you're going to have a lot of people that are confused and in between those two dietary ways of eating. My best advice to anyone, and what I've said in prior videos, is the proper diet is going to be one that does not restrict you, can completely restrict you from eating either meats or vegetables and fruits. So a healthy and a balanced diet is going to include nutrients, and it's going to include minerals and vitamins that you can get from both sides. I hate to be like riding the fence on it, but it's just the facts. So you have these guys like Syringe, Frank Tufano, and Frank Tufano, he's pretty cool. But it seems like the carnivore crowd is very narcissistic. Um, and in the vegan crowd, you have a lot of cognitive dissonance and people who are very hard headed and they're stuck in their ways. So you take these two groups of people and it becomes very volatile. And so hopefully I can be like kind of a voice of reason when it comes to these things and give you guys, a different perspective. So that's my response to Sv3rige, whatever his name is, the crazy ass raw meat eating YouTuber who just got arrested. Don't listen to guys who are going to tell you to completely stay away from any certain types of foods unless that food is truly bad for you and there's evidence that the food is truly bad for you. Anybody who's telling you to just eat meat, something is wrong with that. And anybody who's telling you to just eat vegetables, something's also wrong with that. So that being said, guys, get in the comment box, share this video, make sure you subscribe. And if you have anything to talk to me about, um, I hope that it's about topics that I cover in this video or in prior videos, or else just don't talk to me. Peace out.